Good morning, everybody. It is Saturday, March the 5th, March 4th today. I realize it's a weekend, but wanted to come on this morning and give you a few more details in the Dylan Rounds case. It has been a 9-month ordeal for this poor family who has been wondering where Dylan is and what happened to him, and if there will ever be any resolution. And last night it was announced, it was filed that James Brenner, a man from North Dakota originally, is charged with 1 count of aggravated murder, a first-degree felony in Utah, and 1 count of abuse or desecration of a human body, a third-degree felony. And I wanted to show you, we have the court documents today, and I wanted to show you and tell you exactly what they say to give you a little bit more context as to why they are charging this man. He has been a person of interest, the key suspect, you could say, since pretty much the beginning. Dylan disappeared over Memorial Day weekend, 2022, made a call to his grandmother in Idaho, told his grandmother that he had to get the grain that was in the truck inside the shed because it was about to rain. And so he was got off the phone, and then no one heard from him again. And the family went out there the following Monday, I believe, and to see what was going on. And Dylan's truck was there, his trailer was there, but he wasn't. They found his boots with a stain of blood or some sort of stain behind a dirt pile in the surrounding property. And nearby was a man named James Brenner, who was squatting, reportedly squatting on property out there in his trailer. And he has been a suspect, and now he is officially the suspect in the murder of James Brenner. So I want to read you what's in these court documents. You can hear them exactly what they say. Count 1, aggravated murder, a first-degree felony that on or about May 28th, 2022, the defendant did 1, intentionally or knowingly cause the death of another, and the defendant, the actor, previously committed or was convicted of an offense committed in another jurisdiction, which is committed in the state, which would be a violation of a crime listed in subsection 1, or an offense committed in another jurisdiction with, if committed in this state, would be a violation of the crime listed in subsection 1. James Brenner has a violent history. He has faced charges elsewhere. He's been in jail on a firearms violation because he's a convicted felon. He's not allowed to have firearms, and when police went out there and served a search warrant last summer, they found firearms in his property. So he was arrested at that point. So there's the count 1, aggravated murder. Count 2, abuse or desecration of a human body, a third-degree felony that on or about May 28th, 2022, the defendant did intentionally and unlawfully disturb, move, remove, conceal, or destroy a dead human body or any part of it. Now, we don't know where Dylan is. We still don't have his body. The parents, I spoke with Candace Cooley last night, they're remaining optimistic that Dylan's body will be found in the spring once the snow melts, but they're saying that not only did the authorities are saying not only did James Brenner kill Dylan Rounds, he obviously desecrated the body, moved it, hid it, concealed it. And as far as we know, he has not said where that body is, because if he had, I can guarantee you searchers would be out there looking for it, especially the Cooley, Candace Cooley and Justin Rounds, Dylan's dad, they'd be out there. So here's the probable cause statement. The 19-year-old victim was reported as a missing person on or about May 30th, 2022. Sheriff deputies, along with search and rescue crews, immediately got to work on efforts to locate the victim, but were unsuccessful. During the search, deputies discovered a pair of boots belonging to the victim nearby. One boot had a blood stain that DNA analysis confirmed belonged to the victim, in addition to DNA belonging to the defendant, James Brenner. The victim's phone records were also obtained, which showed movements on the day of his disappearance on a remote property in Lucin where the defendant was squatting. Phone data showed that the last signal from the victim's phone was at the Lucin Pond, and a search of the pond led to the discovery of the victim's phone. This is something, I don't know if we've reported this, but we've known it. We may have known it off the record for some months, that Dylan's phone was found at the bottom of the pond. I don't think we've reported it because it was told to us off the record. They drained the pond and they found his phone. Here's the interesting thing. The phone, even though it had been in the water for however many months, a digital forensic download of the phone was conducted and led to the discovery of a time-lapse video with a timestamp taken at the time of the victim's disappearance. That leads me to think Dylan's phone was on, recording a video at the time he disappeared. That is a key line in this probable cause, that a digital forensic download of the phone was conducted and led to the discovery of a time-lapse video with a timestamp taken at the time of the victim's disappearance. And then the video showed defendant with bloodstains on his arms and shirt as he's cleaning a gun. That if you can pull time-lapse video of the suspect cleaning a gun with blood all over their arms and shirt right after Dylan disappeared, that is strong. That is strong evidence. The shirt, which the defendant was wearing in the video, was analyzed, and the victim's DNA was found on the shirt. So Dylan's DNA was on James Brenner's shirt. Defendant was interviewed and made several claims that corroborated forensic evidence, in addition to making numerous demonstrably false statements. Despite a thorough investigation and extensive search, the victim's body was not recovered due to the defendant removing and concealing it. So it sounds like, and that's it. That's it for the probable cause statement. It's about one paragraph, if you can see it there. By the way, I'm going to post these court documents here in a minute on eastidahonews.com, and you can read through them if you want. But that is quite a statement there. The probable cause document. Again, Dylan Rounds reported missing on or about May 30th. Sheriff deputies, along with search and rescue crews, immediately got to work on efforts to locate the victim, but were unsuccessful. During the search, deputies discovered a pair of boots belonging to the victim nearby. One boot had a blood stain that DNA analysis confirmed belonged to the victim, in addition to DNA belonging to the defendant. So there was Dylan's DNA and James Brenner DNA on that boot, on those boots. The victim's phone records were also obtained, which showed movements on the day of the disappearance on a remote property in Lucin where the defendant was squatting. Phone data showed that the last signal from the victim's phone was at the Lucin pond, and a search of the pond led to the discovery of the victim's phone. A digital forensic download of the phone was conducted and led to the discovery of a time-lapse video with a timestamp taken at the time of the victim's disappearance. The video showed defendant with bloodstains on his arms and shirt as he's cleaning his gun. The shirt which defendant is wearing in the video was analyzed, and the victim's DNA was found on the shirt. Defendant was interviewed and made several claims that corroborated forensic evidence, in addition to making numerous demonstrably false statements. Despite a thorough investigation and extensive search, the victim's body was not recovered due to the defendant removing or concealing it. Now, this is just a probable cause. What is a probable cause? Police have to have, the DA, the prosecutor, has to have enough probable cause to arrest you. They don't have to reveal all of their evidence here. They don't have to tell out their whole case. They have to say to a judge, listen, this is why we think they did it, because of this, this, and this. If the judge says, yes, there's enough probable cause, arrest them, that's what they do. What else is on his phone? What other video did his phone capture? That will be the key. If there's other videos on that phone, if that phone was rolling video for, I don't know, an hour, 2 hours, what if that phone captured the crime being committed, the alleged crime being committed? That would be unbelievable if that's the case. We don't know that, but I'm just saying, if there's a timestamp at the moment Dylan disappeared, and there's a video showing James Brenner with blood on his arms and on his shirt as he's cleaning a gun, that could be the smoking gun. This was filed in Box Elder County, Utah, which is in Brigham City. So again, James Brenner charged with aggravated murder and abuse or desecration of a dead human body. He was born, James Brenner, just some other court documents, December 2nd, 1963. He's got an extensive criminal history. This was filed the 3rd. So yesterday, he was issued a summons. Judge Brandon Maynard has been assigned. I would imagine that he will be appearing in court in the next, probably Monday. If this were in Idaho, he would be appearing Monday. I'm not quite sure how Utah. Generally, you have to appear within 48 hours. And so Brenner should be in court on Monday. Now the question is, what will he reveal where the body is? That's the question. So again, I spoke with Candace Cooley last night. They issued a statement. They asked us to convey to you that they are appreciative of your prayers and your thoughts and all of the support over the past 9 months. They still want to find Dylan's body. This is a big step in the case, obviously, to have a charge. You'd hate to have this go on for years and years with nobody charged. But they have charged this man, and now they're hoping that come in the next few weeks with the snow melting, they'll be able to go find their son's body. And this is Elliot. Do you want to say hi, Elliot? Hi. Okay. I'll be out in a minute, okay, bud? Okay. He wants the Switch. Obviously, I'm at home. I'm not at work. But I wanted to bring you these because these were just filed last night. I'm doing some work. I'm talking to people. You want to wave? I have to tell you, but personally here, when I cover these stories, these are the people I think about. My kids. When, especially children disappear. Dior Coons, I think about him daily. JJ and Tylee. Think about them every single day. Can you close that door, bud? Dylan Rounds, thought about him every single day. And I've covered other missing kids. I think there is hope in a lot of these cases. I covered, for those of you in Virginia, you might remember Robert Wood. This was a boy with autism who disappeared. He was on a hike with his family years ago, 2013, I think, 2012. And he was in a massive Civil War battlefield park, and he's nonverbal, and the family turned around and Robert was gone. He just disappeared. He took off. And the police were called, search and rescue teams were called. They could not find this boy anywhere. Night came. It got dark. The next morning, no sign of Robert Wood. That's when the news started to pick up on it. For 7 days, maybe it was 9, between 7 and 9 days, there were search parties out there. It was unbelievable. There were buses of volunteers lining up arm in arm, walking every inch of that battlefield park looking for Robert Wood. No one could find him. Nobody could find him. We were out there daily. All the news crews, we had shifts. I would work night side from like 2 to midnight, and then someone would come at midnight and work midnight to day side, the times that were the news came, in case he was found. There was food. I remember Chick-fil-A one night dropped off like 1,000 sandwiches for all the searchers and all the rescue parties. And everyone's waiting. Where's Robert? Where's Robert? And there was this cold front coming right before Halloween. And they said there's no way anyone could survive the temperatures that are coming. Like he has to be found by Friday. So Friday comes, it's rainy, it's cold. He had disappeared the previous Sunday or Saturday, I believe. I go into the newsroom, I'm getting ready to head up to the search parties. We get a phone call. Hey, Robert Wood's been found. We're like, what? And he's alive. We're like, what? So our managing editor, Mike Vrabel, hangs up the phone and he said, I just got a call that Robert Wood's been found. And we said, who? And it was somebody on one of the search party buses that was headed out to the park, that they announced to everyone on the bus, we just got word Robert Wood's been found and he's alive. And the whole bus burst into cheers. So we're in the newsroom like, what? And then the phone calls started coming. Robert Wood's alive. Robert Wood's alive. Our anchor wasn't quite there yet in the station. So my boss came out. She said, Nate, get on the set. I ran out to the set. We cut into programming, Days of Our Lives or something. And we got it confirmed that Robert Wood was indeed alive. And what happened was there was a farmer who still to this day, we don't know who he is. He's remained anonymous all of these years. He said he felt that he needed to go on a walk around his property. He lived across the street from the battlefield park, across the street. He just said he felt he had to get up and go on a walk. And he's walking around his property. He looks down and there's a creek. And laying next to this creek is Robert Wood. Eyes open, looking up at him. Of course, Robert was nonverbal. He couldn't talk. The farmer found this kid. And he immediately called the authorities. A helicopter came. They loaded him in the helicopter. They flew him straight to the hospital, obviously with his parents. We still to this day don't know how that young man survived because he had autism, and he couldn't speak. We don't know what happened. They did find, I believe there was a small puncture in his esophagus or something, some body part where they believe he may have eaten something sharp. when he was there in the field, but they don't know how he ate. They actually said, one expert told us that it may have been a benefit that he had autism because he wouldn't get as scared, perhaps, as other children who don't have autism. And because of that, he survived, and we still to this day don't know his story. Robert was 9. So Robert was 9 years old when he disappeared. And it was a miracle. And I remember every night that week, I covered prayer vigils that he would be found. We'd go, they'd hold him right when the sun went down. Everybody would have a candle. There were some beautiful prayers that were said. But that last night when he was found, there was a big prayer vigil planned. They turned it into a community party. And everybody came down and celebrated that Robert Wood was found. So I think of that. I think of that story. Whenever kids go missing, whenever there's unsolved mysteries, that there still is hope. I think of Elizabeth Smart. I think of other miracles. Sadly, it seems that more don't end that way. And obviously, in the case of Dylan, that has not ended that way, according to these documents. So let's hope, think about Dylan's parents today, all of his family, his grandparents, his siblings. At least they have charges now in the case, but they still need a body, and they still have a long way to go to get to resolve this. There'll never be any resolution. I shouldn't say to resolve it, but let's just be glad it's there. All right, thank you all for watching. I know it's early on a Saturday. I'm gonna post these documents here at east.idahonews.com in about 5 minutes. I have them ready to go. So I'll put a link, and you can go read those if you want to see them. Not very detailed. Some probable cause documents, depending on the jurisdiction, they can be like 9 pages. I once read one that was 19 pages. The investigator really laid out every single thing. This is 1 paragraph. That's it. Right there. 1 paragraph. But there was enough to get a judge to sign off that, yep, this man should be charged. All right, everybody. I hope you have a good weekend. We'll keep you updated on this story, of course, as it unfolds. See ya.